The big news with the Colts getting Sauce Gardner, the Cowboys went out and got Quinnen Williams. I want to play something for you that happened yesterday live when we were talking to Jay Glazer. And, of course, the great Fox insider. He was actually in London vacationing for a few days with his wife before coming back. And he was getting a text message, and it sounded like this. Checking your phone for trade info?
I'm getting a call actually now saying, guy asked me, what do you think about Quinnen Williams? Last second here, might have a shot. So, great dude. Love the guy.
So are the Jets selling?
Well, they were kind of like, hey, you got to make us a huge offer, or blow us out of the water, but maybe somebody's willing to do something like that.
Yeah, maybe somebody like Dallas was texting Jay Glazer. And Jay said, look, teams will use me as sort of a liaison or intermediary. Hey, can you inquire about this? Therefore, they're not asking the team. They're asking Jay, hey, is he available? Just like Max Crosby. If you're the Raiders, you're going to hold on to Max Crosby. Love Max Crosby, but what are you doing and where are you going? Now, I thought that maybe if Geno Smith played as he has in the previous years, and maybe Ashton Genty played well, Bowers is really good, you got Max Crosby, and Pete Carroll. I thought it was a recipe for maybe a 500 team, a little bit better, maybe a little worse than that, but being competitive. And you're not. And Brock Bowers is the one guy that I would view as maybe untouchable. Because what can I get for Max Crosby? If you're going to get a couple of first-round picks for Quinnen Williams, you're going to get a couple of first-round picks for Max Crosby. But let's not be deceived by the picks that you get. Because if you look at what the Jets got, full return for Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. They got a first-round pick from Indy in 2026, Dallas second-round pick in 2026, Indy's first-round pick in 2027, and then they'll get a first-round pick either from Dallas or Green Bay, whichever one is higher. You get A.D. Mitchell, wide receiver, and you get a defensive lineman. So it's nice to have those picks, but as we've said many, many times down through the years, who's making the picks? It's not Ozzie Newsome from the Ravens, or it's, Howie Roseman from the Eagles. I mean, who's making the picks? Because if you don't have a great front office, it doesn't matter what picks you get. And plus, with those picks, what are you going to go after? Maybe a defensive lineman to replace Quinnen Williams, maybe a defensive back to replace Sauce Gardner. We get caught up in, oh my God, they got all these first-round picks. Okay, but you still have to make those first-round picks move and work. And what are we getting? And then you're trying to replace the players that you traded away, and it's all about money. Because if you look at the amount of money the Jets were going to have to pay, $120 million for Sauce Gardner. Now, his production's dipped a little bit, but he's still really good. This is a championship caliber move because you get a really good corner, and it feels like they're all in. And why wouldn't you be? I think the Colts have to look around and go, the AFC is open. Like the Chiefs may not make the playoffs. And then you got the Buffalo Bills. They didn't make any moves. I was really surprised. I thought Buffalo was going to make some moves here. You stumble into Daniel Jones. I mean, you were really, really it's almost like what the Niners did with Brock Purdy. You screwed up Trey Lance, and then Brock Purdy came in and saved you. You screwed up Anthony Richardson, and now you got Danny Dimes to help save the day. And you got to look at this and say, we can not only win our division, we can win the AFC. And I like the thinking. You're all in. You prove that. And that's believability in Daniel Jones, that he is your quarterback. And to add that to your defense, I thought it was a great move for them if they felt that's the one piece that we really needed. As far as the Jets, I can applaud them for getting a lot in return, but then you're saying, okay, not next year, and probably not the year after that, maybe 3 years down the road. Now, if you're a fan, and I think they just raised ticket prices, by the way, are you okay with that? Remember the 76ers with the process nonsense? Oh, it's the process. It's the process. It's the process. They had bad draft picks, and all of a sudden we waited. They eventually got to Eastern Conference Finals, but you got to trust. Like the Cubs did this in 2011. They announced what they were doing. They're like, hey, we're getting rid of our players. We got 3 years maybe. And Theo Epstein cashed in on that, and they win a World Series. As long as you trust your front office, as long as you trust management, I'm okay with this. Would I be trusting the Jets? No, I would not. I don't know about Aaron Glenn as a head coach. They need a quarterback. Oh, I know it's going to be a quarterback-rich draft, like every quarterback, draft is. Oh, you can get your quarterback. I don't know about that. But you're going to get these draft picks, and how good are they going to be? Who's drafting? That's the key. The Cowboys getting Quinnen Williams, okay. I mean, I like him. And I did say yesterday, don't make a move that's now. Because there is no now, it feels like, for the Cowboys. I want to know next year and the year after that. And Quinnen Williams is all-pro a couple of times. He's 27, I believe. So, okay, we got another run stopper here. I need somebody to get to the quarterback, by the way. The Bengals don't move on from Trey Hendrickson. Their asking price, probably too much. Albert Breer, the Monday morning quarterback, will join us a little bit later on. We'll talk about that. But you start to look at those who did and those who didn't. And sometimes it's more fascinating, those who didn't. I thought the Dolphins might move on from Chubb. I thought Jalen Waddle might move on from him as well. Buffalo, I thought they were going to do something. And all it takes is maybe one little move. And I don't think anybody was talking about Quinnen Williams or Sauce Gardner being traded. They were shocked that they were traded. Normally, you'll get a little inkling. A player will find out that, hey, or your agent will tell you, hey, your name's being thrown around there. Hey, somebody's really interested in you. And as we found from Jay Glazer yesterday, the Cowboys reached out to him while he was on with us to ask if Quinnen Williams was available. And I think Jay was saying, I don't know if he is, but we're going to find out if he is. And that's all it took. Like, what are you willing to give? Yes, Marvin.
And then Breece Hall on X yesterday was really funny because he's like, whoa, what about me? No. Trade me too.
I would have. I like Breece Hall. But once again, like, how far do you go? Now, if you're a Jets fan, do you go, well, at least we got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall to go watch play? That's the hard part. Because if you're a true fan, you're not walking away from your team for 2 years. Hey, you know what? I'll be back in a couple of years, okay? There's only so many games, 8 home games, 9 home games. But you start to look at some of these teams and you wonder, why didn't you sell or why didn't you buy? Because certainly in the AFC, it feels like the AFC is open for business. Because are you sold on Denver? Are you sold on the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Bills, Jags? Like, who's a great team? And I don't think you have one. The NFC feels like it's a little more top-heavy. But we'll talk to Albert Breer, and we'd love to give grades here, or who won and who lost at the trade deadline. All right, Seton, poll question for hour one is going to be what?
Going to be what? Well, if you're a Jets fan today, you are excited for the future or feeling lost.
I came in yesterday afternoon, and a couple of the backroom guys, Rob and Anthony, they were sitting back there, and I said, hey, how's it going? They go, great. And I go, and I didn't know Quinnen Williams had been traded. I said, what? You got something for Sauce Gardner? Go, Quinnen Williams got traded. And I go, okay, sorry. Just passing through. So those are diehard Jets fans. And I don't think they were all in on that trade. Because once again, you have something tangible with Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams. Now I just got some draft picks. Draft picks are potential. Potential gets you fired. You don't know. I mean, what are the odds you're going to get a player who is good? What are the odds you're going to get a player who's really good? You traded 2 guys who are really good. I think we can all agree. Not Hall of Famers, but really good. Now you got to try to find 2 really good players. Yes, Pauline.
It is funny because the Jets draft history is pretty bad, but recent history is a little better. In 2022, they got Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Those are both working out. You look at the past couple of years, it's all been good, but you're in this weird valley where they're in the middle of their careers, they're expensive, and they're expendable. Those 2 draft picks worked out for you. Those are the kind of guys you want to extend for the rest of their career. But this lull you're in, you got to be a seller.
Well, we need to check and see who was the GM when they drafted those players, because don't they have a new GM, I believe? So once again, who's drafting? And you got ownership that you can't feel confident about. Aaron Glenn, I have no idea. I feel like if they didn't win a game, he'd probably not keep his job. But so if you're a Jets fan, it's about hope again. Hey, we got rid of Sauce Gardner's contract, and we got some first-round picks. Still don't have a quarterback. But it's a quarterback-heavy draft. They're going to find their guy. You know what I would do if I was the Jets? I'd trade for Kyler Murray.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'd bring in Kyler Murray.
Oh, no.
What?
Maybe I get him, at a nice price or something. Cardinals are moving on, apparently, or they're not ready to turn it over to Kyler Murray. You know what? When we come back, their head coach, Jonathan Gannon, after the win on Sunday, was like, hey, Kyler Murray's still our guy. And then all of a sudden, something changed 24 hours later. I'm like, what happened? What changed? I wish I would have been in the press conference because I have 2 questions that I would have asked to the coach.